Deion Sanders, what advice he's giving Shedeur Sanders with Todd Monken as the new head coach?
Work. Work. That's the way you win everything in life, but work. I ain't never seen somebody that's don't want to work, win, or succeed, or become successful, or people follow. He's a worker. He's a bona fide worker. It's funny that all this bull junk they was putting out on him, at this time last year, where has that gone? Where has that gone? Because he's a true leader. He's a bona fide baller. He can play. He studies. He prepares. When he walks into a room, he knows how to win it. But it's just the work. Just getting in there with the head coach, getting in there with the OC, just getting the playbook early and just put in work.
Tom, you know what? I don't think you really can question Shedeur's work ethic. Again, the one thing that he has to stop doing, catastrophic sacks and turnovers, and keep the big. I mean, every 2-3 plays every game, it's like, wow, that's what you're looking for. And there would be a couple where it's like, man, we got to stop that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Dave, I like the message from dear old dad, right? I think it's the message that a lot of dads give their sons is, to work hard, keep your nose down, do what they tell you. Don't leave any doubts. Don't let anybody question, your day-to-day work ethic. Get there early, stay there late. All those things are great. I also didn't like, though, that Deion sprinkles in the bull junk and all this stuff being talked about him when we all know, what happened last year, which is that Deion did his son no favors by the way they handled the draft process. And listen, we've talked about that ad nauseum in the reasons why he dropped down to the 5th round before he was finally taken by the Browns. So I don't think you can question his work ethic necessarily, Dave. I do think, though, that people miss that he was far behind when he came in last year. Part of that was because he played for his dad. Part of that was because he was at that Colorado system that essentially threw the ball to Travis Hunter when things got dicey and they were able to pick up first downs and move the ball down the field. So I think the good thing about Shedeur last year was that we saw growth. We saw hope. We saw promise. We saw greater potential. In those 7 games, to your point, Dave, there were 2 or 3 plays where you said, whoa, that looks like an NFL quarterback, one that's able to lead a team potentially to the playoffs. And then you make 2 or 3 other plays where you were like, dude, you're not playing against Colorado State anymore. You got to throw the ball away. What are you doing? So in a nutshell, I think we did see enough to say that he definitely has a chance to win the job. Now, what the Browns are going to do with that position, I still think is really up in the air. I mean, they are clearly not hitching their wagon to Shedeur at this point, nor should they. They still got the Deshaun Watson situation hanging over their heads. I think in the Super Bowl win last night by Seattle and with Sam Darnold, you've seen that it can be done other ways. You don't necessarily have to find that quarterback in the first round. Sam Darnold was a high first-round pick. It also took him a long time and 5 different teams to figure it all out. So I think, when Browns fans get caught up in, oh, we got to have that franchise quarterback, and yeah, you do, but there's other ways to find them. And maybe they got lucky, and maybe they found theirs in the 5th round last year. Only time will tell. But I do like, to your original question, I do like what I'm hearing from Deion, in terms of conveying a message to his son. I think, Todd Monken will embrace every chance he has to work with Shedeur. And I also think it's very important for Browns fans to remember that Todd Monken knows what the best quarterback in the NFL looks like. He had him for a couple of years down in Baltimore. Not to say that on a given week, Lamar doesn't go from number 1 to number 5 and all those guys are interchangeable. But Todd Monken knows what a franchise quarterback looks like. And that's something that not necessarily the Browns have had for a long time here.